Paul Fife with Keller Williams, and today I am out at the Peculiar Winery, and I'm sitting here with Chris Goff. So I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, Chris Goff. Like I said, the Peculiar Winery out here on Harper Road in Peculiar. We've been open since June of 2019. So, we make all our wines here. We got about 20 now. We started with 9 back in 2019. It's grown slightly. The inventory problem, that gets in the way too. Where do you keep all these wines? But anyway, we've been out here for a year and a half, almost 2 years coming up, and it's been great.
Awesome. So what's your favorite one? Or does it change?
It changes. Like the first bestseller we had was Just Peachy, which is very sweet peach wine, which a lot of people like sweet wine out here. So
sure.
That was a bestseller, and it still probably is lifetime. But Quarantini was a really popular one during, of course, 2020, and that overtook peach for a while. Johnny Dare gave me a picture to put on Dirtbag Cherry. We named it after him, Dirtbag. And it changes. It's always fun to make new ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of Dirtbag Cherry, in his picture, you designed the labels for us.
Yeah. It's I just think that's one of the cool ways that you can sort of make yourself different from other wineries or places is to have your label. It's about the only place you can really be creative on. So I did a lot of creative jobs in my background, so that's a place where I was able to sort of use some of those energies that I didn't get to do anymore.
Awesome, good deal. Now you grew up in Belton, right?
Yeah.
You've been there, so you've been in this area most of your life, or all your life.
I moved to Connecticut for a while.
Oh, really?
But just for a few years.
Gotcha. As an adult, you worked.
Yeah, Paul. We talked about my wrestling background, so that's where WWF is. It's up in Connecticut, so I moved up there for right outside of New York City for it's about 45 minutes out, but it was way different lifestyle up there. Now I was young and I was working crazy hours, but I think the quality of life up there is way worse than we have here. And plus, I've always had space and acreage, and it was nice to come home.
I had no idea they were up in Connecticut. Is it tax advantages to being up there?
No, that's just where Vince McMahon wanted it. He wanted to be outside of New York City. And so, that's where the capital of the world, right? So he wanted to be there.
That's cool. I was actually reading something about WWF and WWE. So Vince actually took it over from his dad?
He did. He bought it from his dad, yeah.
That's kind of wild. I didn't
and his
know
grandpa sort of started it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a lot of neat history there. So.
Yeah.
But cool. So you've been here just 2 years. Will be this summer, and that's pretty exciting. And it's your parents and you and your wife are all for the business.
We started it together, and my dad had a business in Belton for 20 years. It was called Prime Label, and it's still in existence over by Hy-Vee. Over there off Mullen, and actually they make all my labels. They manufacture all my labels.
Oh, nice.
I know all those guys there because I grew up there when my dad owned the place.
Sure.
So he retired about 10 years ago. I had a couple of kids. We had kids with my wife, and basically at that point we decided I wanted to do something with Dad, but I was in journalism at the time, and there's no money in journalism, Paul. I don't know if you know that or not. Tell your kids not to do that. But after a while, I was like, what can we do? And I had one of my wrestling friends actually has a winery up in northern Missouri. It's called Windy Wine Company. He's a great guy. His name's Craig Kiesman. And he taught me how to make wine, and I apprenticed with him for a couple of years, and here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where is that at?
That's in Osborne, Missouri, which is it's between St. Joe and Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been there. It's not far from the Chateau Milk place either.
Chateau is in Osborne, So those are the two things put Osborne together.
Not much else there,
yeah.
So that's for sure. Farmers. So, well, cool. So you've been here a couple of years. You've got some great wines. I know you also have bands and food trucks and stuff. Sometimes, right?
Well, before we got into this, my wife and I and my parents, we would go to a lot of wineries together, and sure, there's some great wines everywhere. But I just thought the best part of it was the experience that you had. I didn't necessarily, after you leave and the buzz wears off, you don't really necessarily remember what wines there are, but you remember, I really enjoyed that place. I enjoyed the atmosphere, it was a fun time. And so when we put this together, that was probably our number one goal. I wanted to try to make palatable wine, but I wanted it to be sort of a fun place. So, the place is, I feel, we try for like a homey atmosphere. My mom helped to do a lot of the interior decorating. My wife helped as well. My dad sort of drew out the building and had it made. I mean, this is not a cookie cutter design when we had it done. So when we did that, it just became a fun time to be together, all of us, and I don't know. I enjoy coming to work every day.
That's awesome. Now, are you guys available, like if someone wants to have special events or gatherings or something?
A lot of people ask for weddings and stuff here, and we just haven't delved into that because obviously, like myself, we all want weddings on Friday or Saturday nights, and that's our busiest time.
Makes sense.
So, we've talked about having an event center down the road. We own 15 acres here on this corner. And it's right off 71. It's really easy access, but we haven't started doing that yet. But like you said earlier, Friday and Saturday nights we have food trucks and music. That's when our biggest crowds are, obviously. And we have plenty of events coming up this year, including we're doing our crawfish boil here in April. We have Oktoberfest every year, and we're adding a few more. Just those kind of festival events are fun. You get a lot of the locals involved. The tractor show guys, the car show guys, a lot of vendors locally that obviously didn't have a lot of time to sell stuff last year because it was out of sync, the entire world. Right. So, have a lot more of that stuff, and that's what we continue to do more of this year.
Awesome. Well, I know during Saturday was out of sync. I know I drive by here on a regular basis going home, and I know during the heart of that pandemic last year, you guys were busy.
Yeah, I think we were super lucky. We were semi-pandemic proof because we were outside. If we didn't have that advantage over somebody that had like a strip mall or somebody that had that had a freestanding building but not a lot of outside area, it just helped wineries last year. All the wineries I know all did pretty well, because people felt comfortable sitting outside, and that continues today. I mean, I was just telling somebody the other day, we started out, like, it was very weird, of course, no one knew what was going on. We were shut, Cass County, the only time it really shut down a little bit was the inside and the patio was shut down for about a month or two, maybe back in late March of 2020. But then after that, we started doing curbside. So people just show up and they'd like back the car in, they pull their lawn chairs out, and we'd like bring them their drinks. And then it just sort of ballooned from there. So like I said, the 15 acres turned into like Woodstock festivals out here. They'd be playing washers and bags and having family reunions out here and not weddings, but other bridal shower parties. Everything outside in the grass while we had music and food trucks. It was, I don't know, I thought that was a cool atmosphere.
It was cool, yeah. You certainly adapted and overcame that.
Yeah, I did totally by plan. Yeah.
Well, cool. So you have any new wines coming up?
We released several in the last couple of weeks. We have Voodoo White, is a sort of a Riesling-like white blend. We have Man's Best Blend, which is a semi-sweet red, and then I always like to do like fun flavor ones that are sweet, and the latest one we did was Strabanero is the name of it. It's strawberry habanero. So a lot of people like their pear pinot, which is pear jalapeno, and this is hotter than that. So it's always fun. Like when me and the girls that work here, we're doing tastings. It's like we always enjoy when people do like the pear pinot Strabanero because their face is like always awesome because those, well, it's hot. Because if you tell somebody, if you tell somebody something's hot. That's a different definition to everybody. I mean, like somebody could take my wife, like a black pepper is too hot, right? So yeah, that's always a fun experience for us to have behind the bar when people try this stuff out.
Yeah, actually, cool. So you said you have something coming up in April. Do you remember the dates for that off?
Yeah, Crawfish Boil's on April 17th, but it's a ticketed event. It's one of our only ticketed things, so I think that's going to be sold out pretty quick.
Okay.
But there's still going to be music here, and we have food trucks that night, so it's not like you can't just come anyway. And we'll have a Zydeco band that night, which if you like that kind of Cajun music, it's cool. But we try to do theme stuff like that. I try not to have the same. Try to get some different bands around here. Try not to have just all. I think the classic rock and country is like what most of the bands are. But you try to mix it up. We have some cool jazz bands coming this year. Zydeco, blues. Mix it up.
Variety's good.
Yeah.
Variety's good. Cool. Well, one of the things I like to end our interviews with is just some kind of silly questions.
Okay.
So I've got just a few for you today. Favorite musician or band?
My favorite band growing up was the Monkees.
Oh, really?
And I've seen them multiple times. And the reason why I went to my parents took me to the Monkees when I was 8 at Sandstone because they had come back from the '60s. Their TV was playing on Nick at Night and MTV, and so they were at Sandstone. So I would say the Monkees are my favorite band.
Really?
When I was a kid, yeah.
See, I tend to forget that they were a real band.
They were a big influence on the Beatles.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, what would you say is maybe your coolest job?
Oh, well, that's hard. That's a cool job. I enjoy probably this job is my favorite because I don't have any bosses
True.
to get yelled at. But my first job, as I told you, was I ended up working as a television writer for television and for Monday Night Raw for WWE.
Nice.
Television writer for television. I'm such a great writer.
Yeah.
But no, Raw. I was a writer there and worked on their internet site at the time was WWF.com, and that was when it was really hot. So it's like looking back 20 years ago. I was there from '97 to 2003, which in many ways will probably be the greatest time in wrestling history as far as popularity.
Sure.
So that was the Stone Cold Rock. My kids and I watch Young Rock now on NBC, and it's like, wow, I know the kids I worked with him, right? And he was when he was a nobody. But it was really fun to have that experience. So
That's cool.
that was young man's job, but great when I was in my 20s.
Sure.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Blues Brothers.
I watched that the other day. It's on Stars or something right now. Like
Classic.
Every other day. For fried chickens and a
That's right.
Would you prefer a vacation at the beach or the mountains?
Gosh, that's a tough one. Probably mountains.
Okay. All right. What's the last show you binge watched?
Well, Paul, we have horrible internet out here, so I don't really have a lot of Netflix stuff. And my wife and I have never been to a movie together.
Really?
Yeah, because she always said, "Well, I'd rather like to spend more time with you," And I'm like, "Well, no, I want to go watch, Rambo 4 or whatever." My favorite television shows are like Sopranos is probably the one I would probably like the most. But I also love Cheers, Seinfeld, and Married with Children. So
Gotcha.
those were all
It's
great.
a few years ago.
Yeah, that's when I could watch more TV when I was younger and had no responsibility.
True.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Well, cool. Well, Chris, I appreciate you taking time to
Yeah,
talk
no
to me today.
problem. No problem.
And for those of you who don't know, I film these things live. And we actually interviewed last week, and I screwed up. So today we get to do it again.
I'm glad you added yourself, Paul.
Yeah.
You're taking responsibility.
I'll take it. Yep. So if you guys want to try some great wines, if you haven't been out here, come on out. They've got the wine and slushies and some other snacks and stuff as well, and then the food trucks on the weekends that are awesome. And if I can help you with any real estate stuff, feel free to give me a call. Maybe I can speak better then. So take care and have a great day.